Hey there, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, hold on. We got to move this back. Was not prepared for that being so close to my face. Not a good thing. How's everybody doing today? I am wishing I put a little makeup on today, but that's okay. I don't care. Woohoo. Hey, Julie. Thanks so much for being here today. Okay, so we are at day 3 of our Show Me the Money Challenge. Julie, you're going to be glad you're here today because we are talking about the thing you asked me about on Monday, which is how much do I pay myself? So I got to pull some stuff up here. Hold on, bear with me. So for those who are just tuning in, if you haven't been with me the last couple of days, we are doing a 4-day challenge, Show Me the Money. It's 4 days to paying yourself well and consistently. So just to recap, and you can go back and watch the videos from day 1 and day 2. Day 1, we talked all about the mindset behind this. We talked about how you are your business's biggest and most valuable asset, and you need to take care of yourself. You need to make sure that you are paying yourself, that you are taking care of that asset, because at the end of the day, if you don't sustain, if you're not well taken care of, then your business won't sustain either. Yesterday, we talked about how to get started paying yourself. This is one of the hardest things for most of the people I work with. It's, where do I start? I can't afford to write myself a $5,000 check every month, so this feels hopeless. And we talked about how it's important to get in the habit of paying yourself. So picking an amount that you can pay yourself consistently, even if that's a small dollar amount, and then getting in the habit of increasing that amount on a regular basis. And then to offset, as you have good months, you have profits. I feel like the camera hasn't figured itself out yet. Getting in the habit of bonusing yourself then every month, every quarter, whatever it may be. I just realized I want some chapstick, so hold on. I don't know why the camera's not focusing. That's okay. I moved it and I threw it off. And so day 3, we today are going to talk about how to actually decide how much to pay yourself. Now, Julie asked me this great question on Monday. She said, Meg, how do I know how much? And I told her it depends. I said, there's no formula. There's no right answer, which is super frustrating, right? Because that leaves a lot of you in this position. This is just bugging me. Come on, refocus. In this position of just really not knowing what you should actually do. So today we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're going to talk about 2 aspects of this. So the first aspect of this is really getting to kind of the ideal dollar amount. And so, wow, really a hot mess today. Look at the hair. It's not doing well. And so when I say the ideal dollar amount, what I mean is when I sit down to look at, what I want to get out of my business, and I create my budget for my business. One of those line items in my budget is what I'm going to pay myself. It's one of the most important line items in my budget. Oh, I look clear to you. Good, Julie. I'm glad. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my end. And so when I sit down to figure out, okay, well, what do I want to pay myself kind of in an ideal world? That's the first piece of what we're going to talk about today. Excuse me. And I go into this in so much more depth in Badass Action Takers, which is my membership that's open right now, open through tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. You can join by going to where is it? There we go. megkwheeler.com/action. So we've got a whole thing in this, on this in there. But to figure out really what that sort of ideal amount to pay myself on a regular basis is, I like to look at a few different things. And each one of these things is a piece of the puzzle. So none of them stands on its own. None of them should be the final answer. So the first thing, and I should have made little banners for the screen for this because I think this would be helpful. But the first thing is going to be your personal, okay. So the first thing is going to be your personal financial obligations. So these are the bills that you have to pay. What do you need to make every month to make ends meet, to put money in savings, to do whatever it is you need to do to pay your mortgage, to pay your car payment, pay your student loans, pay all of that. Now, I want to be very clear, and I said this just 30 seconds ago, but I'm just going to say it again because it's this important. This alone does not determine what you pay yourself. All of these things I'm going to talk about today are just one piece of the puzzle, because at the end of the day, if I live a super luxurious, fabulous lifestyle, and I need to pay myself $50,000 a month to cover that lifestyle, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to pay myself $50,000 a month. It doesn't mean that I deserve to pay myself $50,000 a month. It doesn't mean that my business, the type of business I'm in, warrants that. So again, this is just one piece of the puzzle, but this is where I start because it's good to know what this number is. It's important to know what this number is so that you can make sure the money you're giving yourself is covering you, covering your personal financial obligations. Okay, so that's the first piece you're gonna look at. The second piece is Ooh, I'm trying to type it out. Hold on. The second piece you're going to look at is your competitors and the market. And I actually think this is kind of more important than the piece we just talked about, but it's another piece of the puzzle. This is looking at what your competitors are making. This is looking at if you were to go do this work for a company. So let's say you do or let's say you do social media management. If you were to go be hired by a company to do social media management, what would your salary be? Now, again, one piece of the puzzle, right? Because working for someone else is very different. We're not taking on as much risk when we're an employee. And so when we take on that risk as a business owner, we deserve to be compensated for that risk. So again, it's not the perfect answer, but it's one more piece of the puzzle. So looking at your competitors, looking at what you would make if you went and did this work, got hired to do this work for someone, and looking at the market in general. If it's a market that is, very hot right now, I'm trying to think what would be hot right now. I don't know. TikTok is very hot right now. So if you did TikTok management, I don't know if that's a thing, but if you do that, it's a very hot market right now. So maybe that warrants more money than less money, right? So thinking about all of these things, your competitors, the marketplace, the industry that you're in, what is kind of the going rate and all of these things. Now the next, it's going to take me a second to write out. Hold on. The next one to consider is your individual skills and experiences. So once you kind of get a sense for what the market calls for, then you want to look at, I got to move this because I want to sit back. I want to sit back a little bit. Then you got to look at, you sort of take that as a baseline. And then you think about your particular skills, your experience level, and you adjust up or down from that baseline. So if you're brand new in the business, you're probably going to charge a little bit less, right? If you've been in the business 10 or 15, 20 years, you're probably going to charge a little bit more. If you have particular skills or unique skills. So for example, a lot of what I do really is business coaching. So if I compared myself to other business coaches, I'd kind of create that baseline of what people charge. But then I'm a former CPA. I have an MBA, I have a master's degree in accounting, I have all this sort of financial expertise. And so my rates are probably going to go up a bit from that baseline because I'm bringing unique skills to the table that not every other business coach has. So thinking about things like that and how that really gives you more to offer to your people. Make sense? And then the last one, hold on. Okay, so the last one is the value you offer your clients. Now, the work we all do is incredibly valuable to our clients, but when it's when it's a very direct value that can be easily quantified, then this is a really good thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about what you should be paid, because it really allows you to increase your prices a bit more, right? And I want to just clarify one thing here. In the context of all of this, we're talking about ultimately what you pay yourself. But all of these four things that I just talked about, your personal financial obligations, your competitors in the marketplace, your skills and your experience, and the value you offer your clients, these are all used to really determine what your pricing can be. So what you're charging your clients, as well as what you should be paying yourself as well. So you actually can use them for both aspects of this process. But when I say the value you offer your clients, so I'm thinking about something like, if I were, the example I use a lot, if I were a Facebook ads manager, excuse me, and by managing your ads for 1 month, I would be able to bring you in an extra $3,000 that month. Well, that value is pretty easily quantified, right? From where you were before to where you are now. Once I started managing your ads, I've brought you in an extra $3,000. So that gives me a bit of a range right there to basically say, I could charge you $2,999 for that work and you'd still be better off. You would have made $1 from that, but you'd still be better off. So thinking about the value you offer your clients, and Julie does speaking coaching. So if working with Julie means that her clients book one extra speaking gig at $5,000 every single month, then Julie can provide up to $5,000 and it's still worth it for her clients to, or did I say provide, can charge up to $5,000. It's still worth it for her clients to hire her because they're still making a profit, up to that point, because that's the additional benefit they're getting out of working with her. So that's the first thing that I do is I look at these 4 things: your personal financial obligations, your competitors in your market, your skills and your experience level, and the value you offer your clients. And I look at that to really come up with an idea of what I think I should be making. Okay. But then at the end of the day, when we're thinking about deciding what to pay ourselves, it really comes down to what we're actually bringing into our business at this point, right? Because I could go through that whole exercise and I could decide, okay, I think that based on those 4 criteria that I should be making $100,000 a year, like take home pre-tax, but that should be my paycheck, $100,000 a year, right? Well, that's great. But if you're brand new in your business and you only have one client and you're bringing in, $5,000 a month, you're not going to be paying yourself $100,000 a year, right? So what do you do then? So we've created our sort of ideal. And when I say ideal, I want to be clear. This doesn't mean ideal forever. This doesn't mean if you set that number at $100,000, you're saying that you want to be making $100,000 10 years from now. No, of course not. This is a moving target. This is something you continue to adjust. I actually go through this exercise twice a year. I go through it every 6 months. It's something you'll continue to adjust as you grow in your business. But we've got that ideal number. We're just going to stay with the 100,000 for our example. And then we've got the reality of where our business is. So I want to actually pull up a slide. Hold on. This is going to take me a hot second. Y'all, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek into Badass Action Takers, because I have a slide and it'll be easier. I was going to pull up the whiteboard and draw, but that requires me to hook up some tech stuff. And even though I'm okay at that stuff, that's just a lot. So let me show you, let me show you this slide that I already have set up. So in Badass Action Takers, my membership, there is a section called Show Me the Money. It's all about how to pay yourself. And so I want to pull up this slide. Okay, how do I do this? Let's go here. Let's share the screen. Y'all are so good and patient. There we go. Okay. So when people come to me and they say, but please give me a formula, tell me a number. And I tell them, no, I'm not going to tell you a number. And we yell at each other back and forth. And then finally I agree to give them a number. This is usually what I tell folks. Now, this is if you are at the very beginning point and you have the full ability to kind of shape your business, then this is what I tell people is that 50% of your revenues should go towards paying you, 25% towards taxes. You'll want to adjust that for your own particular tax situation. I'm not saying 25% is always going to be right for all of you. And 20% towards your operating costs. This is your Kajabi and your email service provider and your website and whatever other fun tools you got. And then 5% goes into an emergency or some kind of a savings fund. Now, again, I want to be very clear. This is just a guide. If this is not what you're doing, it does not mean you're failing. It does not mean you're doing it wrong. Everybody's business is different. This is also appropriate for a service-based business. If you're in a product-based business, it's going to be a different formula. So I want to be super, super, super clear here. But this is a good place to start if you are trying to figure out, if you're just starting out in your business, you've got money starting to come in and you're trying to figure out how to allocate it, this is where I would start, okay? Now, I'm pretty sure I've got another slide. Hold on. Let's see what we got. Y'all are getting to see all the behind the scenes today because this is literally the presentation. Oh, so here's an example of that. I think you probably don't need the example, but here's an example of that. Let me take my fun thing off here so you can see it. If you got $1,000 coming into your operating bank account, you'd put $250 towards taxes, that's 25%. You'd put $50 towards savings, that's your 5%. $500 would go towards you. And that would leave the $200, the 20% in your operating account to pay your expenses. Hopefully that makes sense. But I'm pretty sure we got another slide. Yeah, cool. Here we go. Okay. So we got another slide, which is if you've been in business for a bit, because here's the thing is I show people this slide. Nope. Y'all don't need to see. That was not good. Hold on. I lost it. You can see it, but I can't see it. Oh no. Hot dog. We are in trouble. All right. Hold on. Tech is not my friend today. I have no clue where that went. But it was weird because you all could still see it and it's nowhere on my screen. So, Oh, I like that it says we're sharing this to StreamYard, but I don't see it. Hold on. We are a hot mess today, friends. Hot mess. Okay, show me the money. Here we go. Let's pull this sucker back up. So what I also do is what I'll say to folks is if you've been in business for a while, you're not necessarily in the position to just like this isn't the first amount of money that's come in, and so it's right there. It's not the first amount of money that's come in, and so you're not necessarily in the position to be able to put 50% towards your revenues or towards your owner's draw because you've already got stuff you've signed up for. You've already got tools that you've subscribed to. You've got training. You've got all this other stuff that you've already committed to. And so putting 50% towards you isn't always a possibility, right? So if you've been in business for a bit, again, we still want to think about these 4 buckets. Everything comes into that operating bank account. Take out some for taxes. You take out some to pay you. You take out some for the savings. What's left over is what you've got to pay your operating expenses. But here's what I would recommend you do. So if X is your operating and Y are your taxes, then your owner's pay is going to be your revenues, everything that comes in, minus your operating expenses, minus your taxes. And that's going to leave you with a number, right? Now, for many of you, that number is probably pretty small. If you're watching today, I'm guessing it is. Otherwise, you wouldn't be taking part in this challenge to figure out how to pay yourself more. The goal is to get that number to go up. So this is where I want you to go back to yesterday's video where I talked about where to start. And I talked about how I want you to pick one amount that you can commit to consistently paying yourself every single month. Even if it's small, it's an amount that no matter what, you will pay yourself this amount. And then every single month, or ideally twice a month, when you sit down and do your money meetings, you're going to reevaluate that number and you're going to ask yourself, can I increase this? And I want you to do everything in your power to increase it, but also know that every time you increase it, you're now committing to paying yourself that increased amount for the rest of the future, okay? Even if it's by $1, increase that number. And if you keep inching that number up and up and up and up and up, and then you find creative ways, like for example, cutting some of your expenses, increasing your revenues, then that number will keep going up over time. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, no, okay. That's all I'm going to show you in that. That's all we need to see. So let me know for those watching live. I see we got a few folks here. Cannot talk today. Let me know if you have questions on that. But at the end of the day, really, when you're thinking about how much to pay yourself, what it comes down to is figuring out what that goal number is, which we talked about with those 4 factors, and then looking at where you're at right now and putting a system in place to 1, consistently pay yourself something, and 2, consistently increase what that amount is. So we're building on what we did yesterday. Now, this is day 3. Tomorrow is our last day of this challenge. So here's where I want you to be at if you've been following along in this challenge. Yesterday, again, go back, watch the video if you haven't seen it. I talked about how to implement this system. But here's what I want you to have done by tomorrow, if you can, is I want you to come up with that one amount that you can commit to paying yourself consistently. Sorry, something in my eye. Consistently moving forward. It can be $10, $100, $1,000, whatever that number is. I care less about the number and more about the fact that you are committing to paying yourself that amount in perpetuity. Okay, so that's step number 1. I want make sure you have that number. Step number 2 is I want you to decide, if you're not already doing money meetings, I want you to decide when you're going to do your money meetings. I recommend the 15th and the 30th. And on those dates, and we've got the 30th coming up, so you got a shot here, my friends. On those dates, I want you to make sure you review that. First of all, I want you to make sure you pay yourself that amount, whatever it is you decided on. But the second thing I want you to do is make sure you review that amount, and I want you to increase it. Even if it's by $1, I want you to increase it. And every single time you sit down for a money meeting, 15th and 30th, I want you to increase it again. And I want you to commit to paying yourself that increased amount moving forward. So even if it's only by $1, increase it by something. Cool? All right, friends, what questions do you have? I'm going to give it just a couple of seconds because I know there's usually a bit of delay. So let me know what questions or comments you have. Otherwise, we'll be back here for day 4 tomorrow, our last day of the Show Me the Money Challenge. And as a reminder, the doors to my membership, Badass Action Takers, are open right now. You can find out more by going to megkwheeler.com/action. Badass Action Takers is all about managing and mastering the money stuff in your business. Everything from cash flow to budgeting, to paying yourself, to pricing your offers, to scaling your business with multiple revenue streams with passive income so that you don't feel burnt out anymore. It's perfect for all of you service-based and online business owners who are stressed looking at your bank account, who don't have a clue what to do with the money when it comes in, who aren't paying yourselves or aren't paying yourselves well enough and really want guidance in that area. And it's called the Badass Action Takers for a reason, because it's all about taking action. So yeah, we're talking a lot about money stuff, but it's really about taking action. It's about making sure that every single month you set one action goal and I help you get there. Because not only am I offering you great workshops and trainings in Badass Action Takers, but we have Q&As, we have one-on-one hot seat coaching, we have implementation weeks, we've got accountability follow-up. So I'm gonna make sure you have everything you need to actually achieve that goal that you set every single month. Cool? Dawn says, thank you. Julie says, thank you. You're so welcome. Thank you both for being here live. I'm gonna leave it there and wrap it up. I'll be back here tomorrow for day 4 of our challenge. And again, head over to megkwheeler.com/action to check out Badass Action Takers. The doors close tomorrow, Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. All right, friends, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.